after the angel got me last week, I'm back in the present day.
That's amazing, Geoff. It's wonderful to see you again, back in the present day. Yeah. However, I've been quantumly extracted, and sadly, we are both, Frey and I, are trapped in a little universe of our own that is shrinking. No, actually, no. We're just sitting in front of this microphone trying to maintain Geoff's fiction from last week. Do you want to introduce?
No, it's Who Corner to Corner. I'm Geoff. This is Paul Frey's here. We've just watched Village of the Angels, and it's got the best cliffhanger Doctor Who has ever
had. Well, there you go. I mean, Geoff kind of said it there, really, didn't he? I mean, Frey, you start, because I've got to get my head into this one. To be honest, I don't know where to begin. Well, I mean, was that one of the tensest episodes that you think you've ever saw, you two?
Let me put it this way. When the episode started, I had fingernails. When it ended, I didn't, and my heart rate probably went through the roof a bit at the end there.
It was pretty fierce, wasn't it? I mean, it was full on.
It really was,
it just built and built and built.
I realised at one point that I was very tense, and my shoulders were up to my chin, and I was like, oh, wait, I need to relax.
That was crazy.
The score this week, that little sort of motif, that kind of howl that it kept doing whenever the angels appeared, the music was really effective this week.
Astonishing. It was really good. It was really good. I mean, so the Weeping Angels have always been one of the most popular monsters since Doctor Who came back in 2005, right? They have been incredible. I think in every story they've done, it's always had something with it. It's always had a sort of a horror aspect, a scariness, a tension, an innovation to it in terms of the storytelling. For example, in Blink, the Doctor's hardly there. He's there in the presence of a video DVD Easter egg, right? And the story is kind of turned about in its head. It's Sally Sparrow, all of that kind of thing, and quite rightly won a Hugo Award, I believe, in Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, which is actually my favourite Weeping Angel story, or at least it was. Until I've seen this one, because this one is awesome. Right?
We did our poll, didn't we, the other day, and I commented everyone knows.
Thank you to everyone who took part in our lovely poll.
Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone is really one episode, but that episode where they're trapped in the caves is just like, that is heart-pounding as well. Good. Yeah, really good.
All of that, and where we've got the first time we've seen Angel coming out of a video screen, when it's hunting Amy, and then we get that idea that the image of an angel is an angel, so it's taking the ideas of Blink and these quantum locks monsters or whatever they are, just another stage further. It's evolving them, and then of course we've had sort of the odd cameo appearance.
There hasn't really been an episode since The Angels Take Manhattan, has they?
The Angels Take Manhattan, there was that one, which was full of emotion. Oh my goodness.
They didn't do anything with, there was no specific Angels episode with Capaldi, was there? And nothing with Jodie until now, either.
No, that's right. And boy, what a return, huh?
And you know how people say Chibnall nails the classic villains?
Yeah.
Guess
what? He's done these proud.
He's done it again.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah. Although, to be fair, there's also Maxine Alderson writing this one as well, who
did you don't know.
The Haunting of Villa Diodati, which was one of the real standout episodes from last season.
Can I also comment the mirror shot with Claire, where Claire walked up to the mirror, and then when the camera pulled back and she had wings, which I thought was very impressively done with someone else.
Angel wings.
Yeah. Because obviously someone was there was no mirror there.
That's what I said to you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said to Frey when we were watching that, I said, look how good that shot is, because she's looking in the mirror and we can't even see the camera in the mirror. And now she's got Angel. And not only that, but...
I'm like, there is no mirror.
Exactly. I knew that, obviously, because I'm not stupid. But it's a great shot. And it's the sort of thing we take for granted, because not only was there no camera or no mirror, but the camera point of view was kind of moving constantly, right? It wasn't fixed. And a lot of those shots, when you see the vampire thing, there's nothing going on. The camera is... It's either fixed or it's moving very little, but that was rotating all around the place. That was a brilliant... and overhead as well, was it?
Yeah,
It was like
there's a deleted scene, which you probably haven't seen, from Terminator 2, where
I wouldn't have seen that, or if I did, it was years ago.
Arnie is sitting in front of a mirror.
I'll be back. Yes.
And Linda Hamilton opens up the top of his head and takes out the chip, and the camera moves around from like one side round to the other, and you think, how have they done that? But
how did he do that?
One side is Arnie, the other side
Yeah.
is a model with the removable thing.
Is a what?
A model.
A model. I thought you said a nozzle.
No, a model
nozzle
head.
Being Arnie's head.
But the real kicker is that one side is Linda Hamilton, the other side of the mirror is her identical twin sister.
No,
that's how they did
amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I didn't know that.
So anyway, really back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
That episode was incredibly tense and
frantic.
Like you said, it just
intriguing.
Up, like you said, Freya, you were shoulders up, and then realised, perhaps I should chill out, but you couldn't, and it still had a huge amount going on, because when I thought initially, okay, maybe this is just a sort of semi-monster of the week, a bit like War of the Sontarans kind of was. And I thought maybe this is one that they've just sort of shoehorned to fit in and adapt it from the original plan, maybe. But it became quite apparent that it wasn't, and the shock with the angel, when they were on the beach, and why, what it was doing, and all of that was quite the contact bit, and all of that was quite different and new for them.
I think what this shows is that there's potential, a lot of potential with the new next sighting. I still think of these guys as new, and they first appeared in 2007, which is before you were born, Freya.
Wow.
I wasn't even alive.
She wasn't even alive then. No, God bless their.
Well, but, they haven't had an episode since what, 2010?
When was that?
I was alive.
You was alive, were you?
A little bit.
A little bit. How old would you have been?
Like a month.
A month old. Oh my God, Freya would have been a month old when Blink was on the telly the first time. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel even older. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you were saying, Geoff? Yes, they were last on telly.
29th of September 2012.
Thank you, Freya. This is why we have young people on our podcast. Keep us in touch with the real world and able to come up with facts and figures a lot quicker than I can.
Google.
Nimble fingers. Yeah, they haven't had a starring episode since Angels Take Manhattan, have they?
Yeah, that's it. And to be honest, even that one was kind of they almost played. I was going to say they played second fiddle, but the core focus on that episode was the exit of Rory and Amy, wasn't it? They were kind of a means to achieving that, which was heartbreaking, man. I still haven't got over that episode. Why is it? It's like it feels like whenever we bring back an angel in an episode like this, they all seem it's always a traumatic episode.
Yeah.
Do you think? Would you agree with that? You two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really remember the other ones.
Well, they are.
It's a downside with the 14-year-olds.
They can't be stopped. They'll keep on. They can't be stopped, can they? They keep going. There's no way to really defend against them, and nobody really knows anything about them. What they really look like, where they came from, or anything like that. And I think that's part of what makes them so scary.
Totally.
They're just relentless in it all. So I thought the episode kind of started, as relatively normal, but then sort of fairly quickly got into things, didn't it?
It did. It was quite a nice thing. I think it started with the audience knowing more about the angels than the people in the story, which is great, because we had that opening sequence where Claire Brown is on the sort of like a lie detector test, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she says her name. That's all fine. There's nothing going on. And then what did she say? What year is it or something?
Yeah, did she say
1967? And it went. The needle went up and down quite. Like it detected a lie. So, but that was the truth. It was actually 1967. she didn't believe it. That's the thing, isn't it? And then it came back a couple of times. So I love that sort of inversion of the whole lie detector thing. I thought that was a nice thing. But we know why that's happening, because we know that she's gone back in the past, or
And he asked her date of birth, didn't he? And she said 85, and then it went up.
May 1985, yeah.
And then she said, "Oh, sorry,
and
35."
She was on 35.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard. Yeah. And that whole bit was quite intense. Well, it started out sort of mysterious and eerie, I thought, and then fairly quickly built up to being quite intense with her kind of taking on the voice and her pupils going.
Oh yeah.
And then the sequence in the TARDIS I thought was really effective. It's looking a right mess in there.
It really is, isn't it? It's carnage in there. Yeah. Chaos.
Black gunk everywhere.
Junky. Yeah.
And whatever it was the Doctor was trying to do with the two cables.
Yeah, some kind of thing. I didn't quite get it, but obviously it did the job of getting them where they needed to be, didn't it, really? And
she said, "Oh, there's two things you shouldn't put together, or three if you count me." And Dan said something like this, are you sure this is going to work? And he was she was a bit unsure. And that was also another quite nice aspect of the Doctor this week. She's quite powerless against them, and almost everything she tried to do kind of it sort of didn't work, did it? You know what I mean? They just got they closed in on them more and more, and she was kind of, she didn't have the answers and was kind of running out of options. I quite like that, in a way.
Yeah, it's the Doctor pushed right against the wall and having to think fast off the feet, isn't it? Which has always been really effective when the Doctor's had
it did it a bit in the Time of the Angels, didn't it? Where they've trapped them in the cave, and the Doctor says, there's one thing you should never do, is what's it? He has a really great little speech there, didn't he, at the end when he
put something in a trap, or so, put me in a trap. That speech, isn't it? I can't remember how it goes.
And then he fires the gun, doesn't he? And it's the anti-grav thing or whatever it is. And this was a little bit sort of the inverse of that. They've trapped them, and then the Doctor has literally not gotten out of it.
That's it. She has been trapped completely. She is an angel.
I'm still shocked by that. So there was people theorised that Dan and Yaz got separated, didn't they, from the Doctor? And
oh, did they? Do you know what? I've got to say, this one I was really good. I kept myself away from whole spoilers. I'd seen a few things knocking around Twitter at the start of last week.
One of the reviews came out early, didn't it?
I didn't see any of that at all. Honestly, mate, I've hardly been on this week at all, because I think, do you know what, it's good, because obviously it's nice to have the conversation and the buzz around the series and the next episode and all that sort of stuff. But the trouble is, Twitter is so vast that someone somewhere is going to crack it, even if there aren't leaks and spoilers and everything else. Just like the hive mind of the online community will just, between it, just figure out everything, and it can just take away the surprise. And I kind of think, this episode would not have seemed so. I mean, it's going to be great when I watch it again, knowing what's coming. But not knowing what's coming the first time round is just astonishing. So I honestly don't even like to speculate myself too much against what I think is going to happen, which is why I don't really like to watch a load of trailers and everything else.
Yeah, I don't really either, because I think that way you can lead yourself down a path a bit of...
You can, exactly. And you can also raise your own expectations of something else, and then you start thinking, what if Claire's Romana, and what if Claire's actually Clara, and all this sort of stuff.
And then you can end up getting disappointed. Right?
That's it, yeah. I would much rather be taken on the journey that the creators want to take me on. And, if it doesn't work for me, then, so be it. But rather than, of course, there's hopes and stuff, but for anything that
that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
this sort of...
but it's not. I want this to happen, or this is what I think. I think it is fun to theorize and stuff, but I think there's a line before you go too far, like I said, and you can start kind of like putting yourself up for disappointment, and when it doesn't go the way you have kind of wanted or something. So I kind of figured that Dan and Yaz would be separated, but I didn't kind of realise, or didn't think how soon, and but I thought it worked really nicely because they've been separated quite a lot from the Doctor, and then that creates its own interesting dynamics, doesn't it? It shows how capable Yaz is on her own, and her
That
police
was really
training.
good, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I think because we said, didn't we? It's almost like Yaz is behaving like the Doctor,
yeah,
Dan the companion. As there's a scene where they're walking through the village, side by side, and Dan is just firing questions like
yeah,
bullet full.
Enough with the questions.
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, it just comes out with that one.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, it's almost like
And it's
doctory. What would
Oh,
the Doctor do?
it's
Sorry, Fresh.
like in I think in Woman Who Fell to Earth, so they were like, you guys, I get it, you love to chat, but we've got stuff to do. Or something like that. And the Doctor said that, and then with Yaz saying enough questions, it was just reminding me of that bit.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, yeah. But I thought they worked really well together, and that kind of moment when Dan sort of realised, are we stuck here? And I was thinking, how are they going to get back? Because
yeah.
the
Well,
Doctor
do you know
doesn't
what?
know where they are
Yeah.
or when.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because there are all sorts of things going in my head here. Because on the one hand, I thought, well, something's going to happen. They will get back.
Mm,
TARDIS will, Doctor will pilot the TARDIS back and pick them up or something. But then I thought, well, hold on, because the 11th Doctor couldn't do that with Rory and Amy.
yeah, fixed point.
Why didn't he? Really,
Mm.
And so if he couldn't do it then, maybe actually the Doctor still can't do that if there's, some sort of weird rule against this kind of thing happening.
Yeah,
And then, of course, we have the cliffhanger at the end where the Doctor is literally, cast in stone and taken prisoner, right? So it's if she is going to be the one to rescue them, it's not going to happen anytime
anytime
soon.
soon. No,
So,
but there was
of course, their world is diminishing, right?
yeah,
That extraction
that
that extracted
pocket.
part
Yeah,
of the village is being eroded at the edges. So, yeah, what is going to happen? It's a good cliffhanger, no
it's
doubt about
really
that.
good. My heart was literally pounding in that. I mean, there's all sorts of questions. Because Claire's angel talks about division and how she's being recalled, and the Doctor's being recalled, and the division uses every species, every planet, every when in what it's doing.
Everything
And
and anything.
suddenly it's become even bigger in scope than possibly a
Exactly,
Gallifreyan
which
hit
got me
squad.
thinking. Yeah, which got me thinking. Right? Has it categorically been said? And apologies if it has, because this could just be me being an old git and forgetting. Right? But has it been categorically said that the division is a Time Lord thing or a
Um,
Gallifreyan thing, for example?
it
Or are
hasn't.
we just assuming that?
Well, because in the Timeless Children, we saw I can't remember his name, the Irish guy. We saw him,
Yeah,
and also the younger,
did yes,
the younger version of the Doctor was there, and
yes,
there were
yes.
two of them, weren't there? Two lads being put on a mission by Gat, and I had assumed. But I didn't think too much about this because I didn't want to set myself up for it. But I assumed one of them was the Doctor and the other one was the Master. That was
Yeah,
my headcanon on it, perhaps. So it just all felt very Gallifreyan, but they never actually have
I agree. But
explicitly
again,
said
was it
this
actually
is.
ever said though
No,
that
they've
they're
never
Gallifrey?
said this is Gallifrey's division hit squad,
Mm.
or whatever they are, assassins or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
after that bit tonight, yeah, it's possible that it's not just
Because,
maybe.
like you said, it is suddenly now a big thing, right? Because
Mm,
I just thought that, like UNIT was kind of rebranded because it used to be the United Nations
yeah,
Intelligence Task Force, right? And since the 2005 reboot, it's become the Unified Intelligence Task Force, right?
yeah.
Because I'm not using so I just wondered if, I mean, I was assuming that Division was actually just the CIA from the old series, the Celestial Intervention Agency,
Right.
that kind of thing, or at least a part of
Well,
that.
maybe
Now
it's
I'm kind of thinking, well, actually, no, maybe it is a lot bigger and a lot older
could it
than
be a
that.
cross-universe conglomerate or something that every
Some
species
kind of
has evolved from?
shady cabal.
Yeah, a bit like the opposite of the Shadow Proclamation or something.
Oh, yeah, but
Um,
that's stupid. I don't like Shadow Proclamation. That's just daft.
But so that bit with Claire's angel on the beach, suddenly
Yeah,
made it
yeah.
much bigger and sort of more threatening in a way. And then when she said,
Yeah.
we want what they've got the information that the doctor wants, and they want
Yeah.
her. And
That was a good moment, wasn't it? That was a
again,
good moment.
it really was. They're putting Jodie and the doctor through it. This one, I really
Yes.
felt it at the end when she realised what the trap had been, and that look on her face.
Mm.
It was like you said last week, Freya, with the bit where she's desperate to know what they all know about her, and I thought that was yeah, that was really quite powerful. I thought so. Yeah, I mean, we're finding out bit by bit, aren't we, about division
Mm.
and what it is, and she's obviously see. There's still a couple of unanswered questions because why
There's a
was
lot of unanswered questions.
well
Yeah.
from even before all of this, because why, unless I've missed something, why was the doctor a fugitive?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the crime?
We
So
still don't know, do we?
possibly running away from the division as
Mm-hmm.
fugitive doctor, becoming Hartnell, Troughton, Blow, and going through all of that.
Well, possibly, but
Possibly, we don't
maybe not.
know. Yeah,
Uh,
and sending the Jardoon after the Doctor and ending up getting 13 to recall and take back maybe. But then she got imprisoned and escaped. So maybe it's connected to that. I don't know.
That's the great thing about this series. I mean, you think about it now, right? We're what? We're 3/4 or 2/3 of the way through,
Yeah,
and we still don't know the answers to a lot of questions that were set up. We know a little bit more, but it's fragments, piece by piece, tiny little fragments, and the more these little jigsaw pieces that connect together, the more we realise that actually there's probably more pieces that we didn't realise existed.
And like you were saying, you said earlier when we finished watching it, every time you think you kind of have your head around it, they just throw something completely different,
Yeah.
and you're
yeah,
like, wait, what?
Which I love, by the way, because it's so refreshing, really, to have this kind of TV told, where it is complex. You've got to pay attention, but it rewards you with some really great storytelling, some really great moments that have you on the edge of your seat, that
yeah,
get you talking about this. That somehow, we can sit in front of a TV and we can just watch it like vegetables, and we do that a lot. I do that a lot of the time with a lot of the stuff I watch, and occasionally I'll perk up and then I'll go back to sleep again or whatever. But I kid you not, this last series of Doctor Who has had me just glued to the
yeah.
TV screen.
Well,
Like, as soon as it goes on, I don't want anything else to go on
no,
around me at all. I'm focused completely
the
because I get the feeling I cannot miss a second
yeah,
of it. You paused it for a minute, didn't you? And I had to get you to rewind a bit further back because that pause moment cut Azur's sentence in half. So I've got
right.
the first bit of the sentence, the last bit of the sentence, but not the middle. So I'm thinking, what did I miss? What did I miss? I don't know. Rewind it, Freya, please. And she's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I had to rewind a little bit because when they ended up in 67 and the older chap was using the phone on the TARDIS, which is
Oh, that was hilarious.
yeah,
Gerald. Was that Gerald?
yeah. We
Gerald
saw
Eugene.
Eccleston answered his phone, didn't he, in one of his
Yes, he did.
episodes,
Yes,
and
yes.
Matt Smith used it at one point. But my son came downstairs quickly, so I had to pause it at that point. So I had to
Right.
rewind it because I wanted to hear what he said, and I thought it was quite funny
Absolutely.
seeing somebody
Yeah.
actually using it like a phone box. So, what did you think of the actual angels in this one? Because it looked like they had a ton of them come the end, and I because in the past they've been people in costumes, haven't they? And
Mhm.
I couldn't tell whether they were all just models or some of them were people in costumes or what. But I quite like that now
Yeah.
the one that was on the front of DWM is with the crack in the face was the Claire one, and I quite like
That's right.
that
Yeah.
Rogue one has got something
The
a
one
bit
who's like
different.
holding her shoulder like that
Yeah,
and speaking through her.
yeah, yeah. I thought they looked really good, and the visuals in this episode were, I mean, not perhaps not perfect in every bit, but it's being so ambitious, with the edge of path and then space on the other side of it and stuff
That's
like
pretty
that.
good.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it looks, the ideas behind it are just, it's phenomenal. And
they are really good.
you know,
Yeah.
I really don't think it's ever been this big in scale in
I
any way at
don't
all.
think it has. Yeah.
So what did you think of the Belle and Neil from the Inbetweeners bit?
Oh, we like that bit. Did you like that bit with Belle on the planet with Azure and everything? That was the bit where you paused it, wasn't it? Halfway
Yeah.
through that bit. Yeah, I tell you what I think. When I saw
Needed a wee.
what's his when I saw what's his name, he reminded me of the market trader. Is it Eric Idle played a market trader from Life of Brian? You ever see that? Where they hang? No, you can't do that. You're supposed to haggle. You got to haggle. Yeah, I say, I give you 5 sesterces, and
Oh
I
yeah, I
say,
think I know the
you
bit.
what? You're
Yeah,
having a laugh, ain't you? That's not worth 5 sesterces. It's not even worth 3. And you say that it was just like that. It just looked like he walked off the Life of Brian set.
yeah, but it was a bit like when they had Jay from the Inbetweeners. You know, in in
Yeah.
1955, those guys, they were so good, so brilliantly cast and played in Inbetweeners that it is hard
Right. Yeah.
to see them as something else. But
I say I've never seen the Inbetweeners. I've never
oh
watched it.
really? Oh,
No. People keep
you,
telling me to watch it, which is a
yeah.
surefire way of me never watching it.
Is that why you've still not watched
Yeah.
Elite?
People tell me to watch something. It's not going to happen, mate. So as soon as you stop saying watch Alita, I might actually get around to doing it.
But the Inbetweeners is I've watched it loads over the years. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought what's his name, Blake? That's the actor's name. Yeah, I thought he was good in this. You know, he was slightly different, and
I mean, it was all right. It did.
it wasn't
Again,
a
it might
massive
be
part.
the Life of Brian thing. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed quite comedic, or his delivery seemed a little bit on
Yes,
the comedic
he's
side.
very much a
Not
comedian.
offensively so. I enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah, but
It was,
I think it worked that it was only a kind of smallish.
well, do you know what I was going to say? Because it kind of started with that sort of lightheartedness between him and Belle. You know, I think actually when the horror kicked in, which is when Azure turns up with Passenger, and you've got again, it's like Life of Brian. Everyone prostrates themselves. It's like all hail God and everything else, which is almost what it's like, isn't it? You know, the great savior arrives on top of a mountain. She's been here before. She's saved people. Now it's our turn. We're closer. And then that moment when we see Passenger turn up, we know what that dude is.
Yeah.
Or we kind of know what he is. The fact he's in prison, there's no saving these people. That's it. They're going to their doom. Are these guys the hostages that they burst in on the fugitive doctor and the division burst in on at the Temple of Anthropopopos last week? You know, are those the people who died when Swarm touched Passenger, when Azure touched Passenger and killed those hostages? So, you know, we've now met them, if that's the case, or they could be, other people, but
yeah.
You know, we've seen them, and it's a kind of a thing about it's this thing about blind faith or desperation in some ways, where we want to believe in salvation, because even when Belle rescues the guy, he doesn't want to go with her. He says, "Get away from me, stay away from me," or something like that. And it's only much later when Vinda shows up looking for Belle that he realizes she's actually saved his life. So I love that little story. I thought it was a great little moment that helped break up the Angels' narrative, that the tension within that story, and just gives a bit of breathing space, but also set us up. It gave us more of the flux, more of the devastation, more of the apocalypse, and that.
And it gave us that fantastic shot of her Lupari ship flying past her.
That was beautiful. That was lovely. Yeah,
and the shot when she was standing in probably the car park at Rothlock with gravel all over it, but the background was smoking buildings and wrecked bridges and stuff like that. I thought, for what was the planet called?
Right, yeah,
Vinopus or something. I thought that looked really good. But yeah, I liked their B plot there. Like you said, it's adding more, setting more stuff up, and I particularly liked the MCU post credits scene.
Mid-credit scene.
That's the first as well.
Do you know what? Right, it's weird, right? Because I sort of recognised Kate Stewart, right, and I couldn't just quite place her.
I was going to ask.
Oh my God! What did you say, Freya? Because you didn't say, "Oh, it's Kate Stewart." What did you say?
Bernie.
Bernie, and then I thought, who the hell is Bernie? That's not.
Bernie?
And I thought maybe it's not Kate Stewart, right? So I shut up.
Who's
But no,
Bernie?
Bernie's someone from, was it Casualty or
Holby.
something?
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I only watched the trailer about 10 seconds before I texted you to say I'm coming online, and I thought pretty sure that was Kate Stewart because there were filming photos of one of the specials with
Right.
unit stuff on the floor somewhere.
Oh, really?
So
I
I
couldn't
thought,
remember what her name was in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's Kate
and-
Stewart. Well, like we said, it had been a while since she was
Well,
last
yeah,
seen,
it'd
wasn't
been a while, and there was that gag in Resolution about unit being disbanded and shut down.
it?
By
Oh,
the
that's right.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed a bit out of place, but it was probably setting something up. Chibnall seems to
Exactly.
have done this
Yeah.
quite a lot, doesn't he? Little bits.
Again,
here.
like we said, this is his strength, isn't it?
Yeah.
Serialized TV, dropping red herrings
Yeah.
and dropping things that won't be picked up for a long time.
For a long time.
Further on.
But I wasn't expecting any unit, and I didn't want to get convinced that they'd be coming back.
You
But
don't want to raise your hopes, like we were talking about a minute ago when we
Yeah.
start speculating about,
Yeah.
a unit coming back.
So there was filming photos of unit on the floor, where it could have just been an old abandoned building that they had to go.
Yeah.
And I thought if they do turn up, it will be in a special, not this soon. But as this is probably a podcast topic for another day, but I really enjoy the Big Finish unit series.
Right, yeah.
With Kate Stewart and Osgood in it and various
yeah.
others. And I just downloaded the new one to listen to because it finished. Well, it kind of finished, I think, when Resolution came out, and there was no more sets after that. So people were
Right.
now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It stopped, and people were like, "Why is there no more unit for Big Finish?" Is it because they're shut down in the show? And now we're in November, and the new box set just came out earlier this week. Oh, Chibs, you cheeky boy!
Got something going on, hasn't he? Yeah, there's a new narrative for unit.
I don't know if the box set will connect to it in any way, but the previous lot I think were they were pre Day of the Doctor, I think.
Right. Okay.
There's only one Osgood in it. But that teaser for next week. Well, obviously we'll talk about all that next week. But they've deliberately not showed the Doctor. I wonder if they will. Yeah, I wonder if she's not in it at all, or if they're just going to play with it. Do you remember when Clara had an argument with 12 and she left the TARDIS, and in none of the promo for the next week there was no sight.
I remember the stories. Yeah, that was. Was that right?
Was Kill the Moon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then it was Mummy on the Orient Express, and she was back immediately, but they played it like she was gone. But that, man, I know I said it earlier, but that cliffhanger that is astonishing. That is up there with that's better than the Doctor, than 10's fake regeneration.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Ooh,
because
what do you think?
Because I want to know why is she turning into an angel?
Yeah.
And how, if at all, she's going to get out of it. And what's the whole purpose of it all?
Yeah. Because we know the Doctor's not going to die. Such,
no, we don't. But I was
like,
really shocked when she started, kind of crumbling and turning into stone and stuff. Didn't know what was going on there. Say again?
I say it was quite nicely done, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I wonder maybe it'll end up being a really quick get out next week.
And spray some stuff on her and the stone melt away or something. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah. So what about the kind of horror visuals on this one then, Geoff? What do you think of those?
Yeah, I think
Freya's probably going to have nightmares about this, so we want to be careful, don't we?
Yeah.
Because you were quite freaked out with the hands in the caves and the tunnel.
I don't like
that was really
tunnels.
kind of there's been quite an element of like body horror stuff in all of Chibnall's stuff. Like Dalek
We said
tentacles.
before he's got a thing for the nasty.
Yeah,
stuff,
and
hasn't
this is sort of doing that with sort of essentially an inanimate object. The arms coming through the walls and stuff, and all the kind of rattling doors and
Oh
ringing
yeah,
bell and
yeah.
all of that and
There's the door.
yeah, and using the she strapped a phone, didn't she, to the banister to then wire it up to the TV to watch them. And
Rainbow tape.
I
It was
just watched.
rainbow tape. Yeah,
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 it
it
was
was.
rainbow tape. Yeah, I just watched Scream last night for the first time in a long time, and there's a bit where they set up an old webcam essentially in the house where Ghostface is going around, but there's a delay on it to the van. So with the rattling doors and all of that, and the the live stream thing, it kind of reminded me a bit of Scream, having literally just watched it. But yeah, I thought, I can't remember who directed this one. Was this Salim or Jamie? There's only two
Oh, I
directors.
can't remember. I didn't look.
I think this was Salim. Maybe Freya will look it up. But
Googling as we speak.
yeah, he nailed it.
Think about kids' fingers. They've got extra muscles in their thumbs.
That's
It
because
allows
we
them
use
to
so
like
much.
whip across a phone keypad really, really super fast.
But
I don't know how they do it. To be
I
honest.
thought all the the bits in the churchyard, the smoke and the shafts of light and everything, it felt a bit like Exorcist type stuff or something. When the priest turns up.
Blimey, that's a bit hardcore, Geoff. I was thinking it was more like the demons. Jamie Magnus Stone. It was Jamie.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that bit from the Exorcist, he's all silhouetted and he walks up to the path of the house and there's that light. It was all kind of a bit like that. But yeah, it was. Damon's in sort of style. Yeah, I quite like.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think Doctor Who's always been really good when it does a story in a little English village somewhere. There's a lot of really good ones. The Demons obviously been, one of those things. The Android Invasion, and then we had the 11th Hour.
Yeah,
and, a few sort of in between. Now and then, since the day, and it just kind of plays to that sort of small scale. Well, I say small scale. It seemed to be small scale at the start, wasn't it? It's a very localized kind of a happening or event or something, and then very quickly it reached like epic proportions.
Well, it was Villa of Diodati, in a way, that started.
Yeah, that's right. It was House on Siege kind of thing.
Escalated, but this was into an even bigger scale. So look, I'm conscious of the time for you guys. So we've got some quotes, some comments tonight.
Read them out, Geoff. Let's go through. There's a lot of stuff on this story that I can see.
Yeah, so also got some come through from the fans of Who as well. So let me just read some of these.
Lovely fans of Who.
So
that's a song.
Mrs. Carbonista, née McCrimmon, who's this was Jay McCrimmon. She says, "Fantastic, really fantastic. The Angels' relentless hunting was chef's kiss, bang on, and that cliffhanger."
Brilliant.
Ollie Thross, who's at Ozymandias, says, "I'm a little over the Angels. At least they're vulnerable to telepathic races," with a wink. "A little flat for me. And the doctor is still not operating for me at full. But people are back next week." Gertrude, at Gertrude Lees, just simply said, "I absolutely loved that." And then we also had Multiverse of Mikeness, absolutely outstanding. First time I personally found the Angels decently compelling and actually scary. Brilliant gothic atmosphere, which, along with Small Village, gave me real classic Who vibes, which is
definitely.
Brilliant story, great performances, epic cliffhanger. Loving Flux so far. Kendrick, at DDP Kendrick, said, "Damn, I really liked it. My favourite episode so far. I've said that about every episode live."
It's not the only one, to be honest.
But they really are getting better.
Brilliant. This is even better. This is even better. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's even better.
This might be my favourite Angels episode, either that or second to the Series 5 two-parter, which we were talking about. I like the way it looked, the storyline, pacing, writing, the characters. Thumbs up for me on all fronts. Our friend Blinovich Limitation Geoff Echt, who's at Gallifrey Gothic, he says, "In a series of best episodes yet, this is the best episode yet. Yet more questions raised than answers. The ebb and flow of this season is remarkable, as are the production values." Dom, I like this one, at Domtor Who says, that's all I can come up with right now.
Saw that one. That's a good one.
Fluxing woman in a TARDIS, who's at Jodie's TARDIS 13, says, "Holy shit! I only stood half of what happened because I watched it on the sly at work with the sound low. But oh my lord, that cliffhanger! I can't wait to watch it again with full volume and no distractions." And finally, at Mike Honor says, "Wow! I mean, wow."
Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction afterwards. Actually, trying to get my head into gear, like, wow. I mean, it was, I mean, it's great when Doctor Who does this, when they just decide they're going to ramp it up.
Yeah,
and like they did with Villa Diodati. It's obviously a Maxine Alderston thing. She obviously likes telling those kind of stories, and I think Chris Chibbs is all too eager to kind of give her the reign to do it.
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling she probably, again, we don't know, I'm just speculating, but if Maxine Alderton did the whole kind of villagey stuff, and then Chris Chibnall did the kind of the Azor bit on the planet, the bell,
and the beat
thing, and then just maybe kind of wove the thing together, the way that script editors do. So, either way, the collaboration is, however it was, the collaboration was beautiful. The level of detail in the story, the sheer amount of storytelling going on from scene to scene. It seemed to me that not a single line of dialogue was wasted. Not a single frame was superfluous to the story. Everything that happened from beginning to end served the story. And then, like an extra special treat for us aging Who fans like me, the theme tune, the outgoing theme tune at the back end of the episode was it sounded like a remix of the old Hartnell tune, back from the 60s, because obviously that was the era in which this story happened. It was, and actually that reminds me as well, because again, I thought about it when they saw because you brought up the thing when they had the phone taped to the banister and they were watching from an old black and white monitor, and we saw the angels coming in on a very small scale 4:3 TV in black and white. It was almost like those sort of Troughton monster things. It just thought, this is like 21st century Doctor Who now being retrofitted into the 60s.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You've said this online, and so has like Blinovich Geoff. That this is.
Did Geoff say that as well?
Yeah, I have seen him say this is the closest to classic Who that any of the new Who has felt like, and I do get it. And also, I wanted to say that I liked the inventiveness of the angels, coming out of the TV like that, which reminded me of in The Edge of Reality.
That shot where the angel was literally reaching out of the TV, and again we got that kind of 3D sort of movement of the camera that showed that it was reaching out of the TV, not just from the front, but from around sort of three quarters of the side as well. That was astonishingly good.
And then the bit where it came alive out of the chalk drawing, and then it came, she burnt it, and then it was on fire, and then it came out of the lie detector. But then I really liked that the angel was in her, and that felt really kind of new with it. I thought their appearances were extremely effective.
Really, really good. Yeah.
So next.
I was going to say just very quickly, the comedy from Dan just sort of offsetting things a little bit as well. I've got my eyes are going dry. I've got to blink. I can't do it. But then again,
I just blinked.
I think I just blinked. But then we get again from that to the horror of Jean and Gerald's death, right? Nobody survives them twice. Now, all we see with the angels is that they just send people back into time, and then you
never seen them
long way
back in time.
But now we understand with watching what happened to the old guys that they touch you twice, you're going to die pretty horrifically. It's not going to be nice. And what we also got as well was that nice moment between Peggy as a 10-year-old girl and as the old lady from that we'd seen earlier, and the fact that she didn't shed a tear for the old people. He was never nice to me and all that. But Yaz was trying to, there was tears from Yaz's eyes. She didn't even know these people.
No,
it shows you what I like about Yaz is, there've been those moments. If remember in season 12 in Spyfall, when she comes back from the weird foresty thing.
Oh yeah.
Kasavin took her into, and she's wiping away her tears. She's trying not to show it. She feels things deeply. She's very receptive to emotions. She's a real empathic sort of character. And I love that truth about her.
Yeah,
I
which works as
love Yes for that. The way her character's been drawn over the years, and it's those subtle moments that they're not made a big thing of. They're not explained in great detail, but they're there. It's the character study that I love, and it makes these people come alive. So they're not archetypes, or they're more than archetypes. They're not caricatures. They're real, living, breathing people, and that is one of the biggest things I've really enjoyed about the last few years of Doctor Who.
It's like you say,
characters felt real.
It's little moments, isn't it? Like when the Doctor had been missing for months and then came back.
Yeah, she pushes her,
and then in Flux when Yaz is wanting to know more about what's going on, and the Doctor just basically tells her to clear off and get back in the TARDIS. You could see the kind of the hurt on her face. Yeah, and a bit like back in
like a real relationship of real people. That's what I really enjoy about this. It's not just the Doctor and the companion, or the whoever it is, and the companions shift from one to the other. Blah 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 blah. It's more than that. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I really liked Graham and Ryan in Series 11, the kind of friction between them and how slowly, things happened. And, at the end of it, Ryan called him Grandad, which is what...
Beautiful moments.
Yeah, which is what he wanted all the time. You knew it was coming, but it was on, and, it was lovely. Right, well, we're 50-odd minutes here, and it's quite late as we're recording, and I've still got read it.
It is the late one.
Get it out. I can't think of a cliffhanger.
Freya's already gone to sleep. I think she went to sleep about half an hour ago.
Yeah,
you're after with us, aren't you?
Yeah.
There's a nod. People can't see you when you nod.
No. That's the sound of a nod.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll wrap up, and thank you for listening as always, and we'll be back next week to talk about the survivors of the Flux.
Wow, can't wait for that one, Geoff.
Yeah.
Freya, what do you think?
Amazing.
There you go. She's still awake. Brilliant. Thank you for listening,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did.
Farewell.
Bye-bye.
She perks up now, right at the end. Look at that.